Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss about electrochemical cells. Before going in detail about electrochemical cells, we will have a small introduction about electrochemistry. Electrical energy plays an important role in many chemical reactions. The branch of science which deals with the production of electricity from energy released during spontaneous chemical reactions and the use of electrical energy to bring about non-spontaneous chemical reactions is called electrochemistry. The basis of these types of process are redox reactions, which we have learned in class 11. The reactions carried out electrochemically can be energy efficient and less polluting. Therefore, study of electrochemistry is important for creating new technologies which are eco-friendly. Now let's see what is electrochemical cells. The device in which chemical energy of a spontaneous redox reaction is converted into electrical energy are called electrochemical cells or galvanic cells. In these devices, the Gibbs energy of the spontaneous redox reaction is converted into electrical work, which may be used for running a motor or other electrical gadgets like fan, etc. These cells are very important because of their many practical applications. The first one to prepare the electrochemical cell was Galvanic and Volta. Now let's see how to construct an electrochemical cell. In order to construct an electrochemical cell, we need two half cells. Half cells are nothing but the metal electrode dipped in its aqueous solution. And those metal electrodes will be connected by a conducting wire. And those two aqueous solutions will be connected by a salt bridge. In one half cell, oxidation reaction will take place, and in another half cell, reduction reaction will take place. Because of this potential difference, electric current will flow through the wire. Now let's see in detail about the construction of Daniell cell. The Daniell cell consists of two beakers. In one beaker, 1 m zinc sulfate solution will be taken and to that zinc rod will be dipped. And in another beaker, 1 m copper sulfate solution will be taken and to that copper rod will be dipped. This copper rod and the zinc rod will be considered as electrodes. These electrodes will be connected through a voltmeter, and the 1 m copper sulfate solution and 1 m zinc sulfate solution will be connected using a salt bridge. The salt bridge will be an inverted U-tube containing saturated solution of some electrolytes such as KCl, KNO3 or ammonium nitrate, which does not undergo a chemical change during the process. The saturated solution is generally taken in a agar-agar jelly or gelatin. The two openings of the U-tube are plugged with some porous material such as glass, wool or cotton. The U-tube which connects the two glass beakers will be called as salt bridge. Regarding the function of salt bridge, we will discuss later. When the circuit is completed by inserting the key in the circuit, it is observed that current flows through the external circuit and that will be indicated with the voltmeter. And the following observations we can make. We can find the weight of the zinc rod gradually decreases. And in the zinc sulfate solution, concentration of Zn2 plus ions increases. And the third observation is that weight of copper rod increases and the concentration of Cu2 plus ions in the copper sulfate solution decreases. And we can also see the flow of current in the external circuit with the help of voltmeter. Now we will try to explain these 5 observations made. The first observation is the weight of the zinc rod decreases. This is because zinc rod acts as anode and it is getting oxidized to Zn2 plus ions. So only the weight of zinc rod decreases. The second observation is concentration of Zn2 plus ions in the Zn sulfate solution increases. This is because zinc rod is getting oxidized to Zn2 plus ions and these ions will be present in that zinc sulfate solution. So only concentration of Zn2 plus ions in the zinc sulfate solution increases. The third observation is weight of copper rod increases. This is because cuprous ions present in the copper sulfate solution will gain 2 electrons and it will get deposited as copper on the copper electrode. So only weight of copper rod increases. The fourth observation is concentration of Cu2 plus ions in the copper sulfate solution decreases. This, as we discussed, the Cu2 plus ions gains 2 electrons and it is getting deposited as copper on the copper electrode. So only concentration of Cu2 plus ions in the copper sulfate solution decreases. And the fifth observation is there is a flow of current in the external circuit which is observed using voltmeter. This is because the zinc electrode where electrons are released or where oxidation takes place, we call it as anode. And in the copper electrode where electrons are accepted or where the reduction reaction takes place, we call it as cathode. So the electrons are moving from zinc rod to the copper rod. So we will consider zinc rod as negative terminal while the copper rod will be considered as positive terminal. So we have the flow of electrons from negative terminal, that is from the zinc rod to the positive terminal, that is copper rod. Hence the current flows in the opposite direction. Now let's discuss about salt bridge and its function. A salt bridge has a vital role to play in an electrochemical cell. It is usually an inverted U-tube filled with concentrated solution of inert electrolyte. The essential requirements of electrolytes are the mobility of anion and cation of that electrolyte should be almost same. The ions of electrolyte are not involved in the electrochemical change. The ions present in the electrolyte should not react chemically with the species of the cell. Generally salts like KCl, KNO3, ammonium nitrate, etc. are used as electrolyte in the salt bridge. The saturated solution of these electrolytes are prepared in agar-agar jelly or gelatin. The jelly keeps the electrolyte in semi-solid phase and thus prevents mixing. The important functions of the salt bridge are the salt bridge completes the electrical circuit. The salt bridge connects the two solutions of the half cells and their electrodes are connected by means of a wire. Therefore, salt bridge completes the circuit. The second important function of salt bridge is it maintains the electrical neutrality of two half-cell solutions. To understand the function of salt bridge, let us consider the cell without a salt bridge. The electrons released by the oxidation of zinc to Zn2 plus ions will be accepted by Cu2 plus ions of copper sulfate in the other half cell, and the copper 2 plus ions of copper sulfate solution will be reduced to copper. The positively charged Zn2 plus ions passes into the solution. After some time, this results into the accumulation of more and more Zn2 plus ions in the solution. So these Zn2 plus ions will come and get accumulated around the anode, since anode is negatively charged. Similarly, due to reduction of some Cu2 plus ions to metallic copper, the solution around copper will acquire a negative charge because excess of sulfate ions will be there near the cathode. The accumulation of positive charge around zinc rod will prevent the flow of electrons from the zinc rod. Similarly, the accumulation of negative charge around the copper electrode will prevent the flow of electrons to the Cu2 plus ions. Thus, the flow of electrons will be stopped after some time and the cell will stop working. However, the accumulation of charges in the two half cells is prevented by using salt bridge, which provides a passage for the flow of charge in the internal circuit. When the concentration of Zn2 plus ion around anode increases, then sufficient number of Cl minus ions will move from the salt bridge to the anode of cell. So it neutralizes the excess Zn2 plus ions. Similarly, if the concentration of sulfate ions increases in the cathode of cell, then sufficient number of K plus ions will move from the salt bridge to this half cell. Thus, the salt bridge provides cations and anions to replace the ions lost or produced in the two half cells. Now, let's see how the electrochemical cells work. If you take the interface of electrolyte, the metal ions from the solution, that is electrolyte, will have the tendency to deposit on the metal electrode. As a result, the electrode will get a positive charge. For example, if you consider the copper rod dipped in copper sulfate solution, we have seen Cu2 plus ions from copper sulfate solution will come and deposit on the copper rod. As a result, the rod will get a positive charge. At the same time, there are also another tendency at the interface of electrolytes. The metal atoms present in the electrodes will dissolve into the solution as ions, leaving behind their electrodes at the electrode. As a result, the electrodes will get a negative charge. For example, if you take zinc rod dipped in zinc sulfate solution, the zinc atoms present in the zinc rod will dissolve into the zinc sulfate solution. So, Zn2 plus ions will go into the solution from the zinc rod, and the two electrons of that zinc atom will be present in the zinc electrode. As a result, the zinc electrode will carry a negative charge. When the zinc rod is dipped in zinc sulfate solution, the zinc rod dissolves in that solution. As a result, Zn2 plus ions goes into the solution and the two electrons of that zinc atom will be present in the electrode. So, the electrode will carry a negative charge due to the deposition of electrons and the solution will carry a positive charge due to the increase in concentration of Zn2 plus ions. So, after some time the equilibrium will be reached and there is a separation of charge between the metal electrode and its solution. So, potential difference will be developed between the electrode and its electrolytes, which we term it as electrode potential. The next case is that when copper rod is dipped in copper sulfate solution, we know the Cu2 plus ions from the copper sulfate solution will come and deposit on the copper rod. As a result, the electrons present in the copper rod will be taken by the copper 2 plus ions. So, the copper electrode will get a positive charge and the concentration of sulfate ions in the copper sulfate solution increases. So, the solution will have a negative charge. So, in this half cell, copper electrode will carry a positive charge and its electrolyte, that is copper sulfate solution, will carry a negative charge. So, here also we have the charge separation, hence potential difference will be created between the electrode and its electrolytes. And that potential difference we call it as electrode potential. So, we have seen in a galvanic cell, zinc rod is having negative potential with respect to its solution and the copper rod is having positive potential with respect to its solution. So, the zinc rod has negative potential and the copper rod has positive potential. So, if you take these two electrodes, they differ in their charge. They are having opposite charges. Hence, the potential difference will be created between them. So, when these two electrodes are connected, we can see the flow of electrons from the zinc electrode to the positive copper electrode. So, the current will flow in the opposite direction to that of flow of electrons. So, in general, if we want to explain the working principle of electrochemical cell, we can say whenever a metal electrode is dipped in its solution, the metal electrode will undergo either oxidation or reduction. As a result, there will be charge separation between the metal electrode and its solution. As a result, potential difference will be created between the metal electrode and its solution. And when you are going to join those metal strips, the metal strips also will have the different charges. So, there also you will have the potential difference being created. As a result, when the metal electrodes are connected through a wire, the current will flow as long as the potential difference exists between the metal electrode and its solution. Now let's see what is cell potential or EMF of a cell. If you consider the Daniell cell, zinc rod is dipped in zinc sulfate solution and copper rod is dipped in copper sulfate solution. and the zinc rod will undergo oxidation to produce Zn2 plus ions and 2 electrons. And those 2 electrons will be deposited on the zinc electrode. As a result, zinc electrode will carry the negative charge. And if you consider the another half cell in which copper ions from the copper sulfate solution will undergo reduction and it will come and deposit on the copper electrode. So the copper electrode will have the positive charge. So you have the difference in charge between the two electrodes. Hence, potential difference will be created between the two electrodes of a galvanic cell. And that potential difference between two electrodes of a galvanic cell, we call it as cell potential. And this cell potential will be measured in terms of volts. So we know reduction occurs at cathode half cell and oxidation occurs at anodic half cell. So EMF of the cell will be equal to reduction potential of cathode minus reduction potential of anode. Now let's learn about the functioning of the cell when external opposing potential is applied. If you take the Daniell cell, we have zinc electrode dipped in zinc sulfate solution and copper electrode dipped in copper sulfate solution. And the EMF of the cell is found to be 1.1 volt when concentration of zinc sulfate and copper sulfate solution is equal to 1 m. Now we are going to apply the external opposite potential and we are going to study this in 3 cases. When you are going to apply the external opposite potential less than 1.1 volt, that will be the first case. When you are going to apply the external opposite potential equal to 1.1 volt, that will be your second case. And the third case is that when you are going to apply the external opposite potential more than 1.1 volt. I am going to apply this external opposite potential slowly. So, when the external opposite potential is less than 1.1 volt, this cell will act as electrochemical cell. So, the electrons will flow from zinc rod to copper rod and the current will flow from copper rod to the zinc rod. So, as usual the chemical reaction also takes place. Zinc will get dissolved in the zinc sulfate solution and the copper will get deposited at cathodic half cell. The second case is that when you are going to apply the external opposite potential equal to 1.1 volt. So, both the cell reactions will get cancelled. As a result, no current flows through the cell and hence we cannot find any chemical reaction taking place. The third case is that when I am going to apply the external opposite voltage more than 1.1 volt. So, now the cell will act as electrolytic cell. So, what will happen is non-spontaneous chemical reaction will be made to take place because of the external electrical energy that is supplied. As a result, electrons will flow from copper rod to zinc rod and the current will flow from zinc rod to the copper rod. And the chemical reaction that is taking place will be zinc will be getting deposited at the zinc electrode and the copper rod will start dissolving.